the OmniDog and OmniCat comic book review show. Hello out there to all my OmniDogs and OmniKittens. This is OmniDog's Vault. And I have with me, as I always do every other Saturday, the fabulous Kristen, fangirl Kristen. How are you doing, Kristen?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am actually doing well. I got some books read, which is it's a pretty good gig when your main homework is to read comic books, I think.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I felt like I had homework this week.
Yeah.
It's been like really, I don't know. I've had a crazy work schedule, work week. I read 4 books today.
You read 4?
I read 4 of the 5 I'm talking about today.
I read 2 of them today. I jammed in a third one last night.
I mean, as long as we get the homework done, it counts, right?
Right, exactly. But I know that feeling.
Yeah.
I got up this morning at 5:30 and I said, I got to get some books read.
Yeah. Thankfully, I picked some good ones that people can read pretty quickly. Hey, who doesn't love that, right? You get a book read that you own. It's going to be on your shelf, and it's not staring you in the face like, I haven't read that yet. Why haven't I read that yet? So I can finally check some off my list.
Yeah, and I admit I pulled thin books just so I could.
Same. Yeah, mostly same.
Yeah, River is saying that he was watching college football, and I say college football snuck up on me since it's still August. I've totally flaked and forgot that college football was starting, so I already missed a game that I wanted to see. But that's cool. I was doing other stuff, and Sam. Let's put up Sam's remark because it's a compliment, and we always love compliments. And there's River.
Oh, yeah.
Who I meant to put up Sam's, but let's see. OmniCat. I love the Darkwing Duck in the background.
I love Darkwing Duck.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I would pull this from the shelf, but it took me about 45 minutes to place that and him not fall off of it. I don't know why it's so hard.
Let's highlight that.
Yeah, there's Darkwing. There he is. I'm afraid to touch him. You can tell he's leaning a little bit because he wants to fall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get it back to Sam's comment, which was great episode of A Walk in the Woods today. Thank you very much. That is the horror movie review show. Gosh darn it, I'm losing control here. That is the horror movie show I do with Jenny. And we watched a very creepy, disturbing movie called Sinister. And Sam, thank you for watching. It's always fun to do stuff with Jenny. She's very enthusiastic and knows her stuff. And I appreciate you watching, Sam. That's great. So actually, let's take a look at what you have on your shelf there. You've got Scrooge up top.
Yeah.
And who is that next to him?
Chewbacca.
That's Chewie, okay.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That guy, I can't think of his name now.
What does he do?
Is in Spider-Man. This guy, why can't I think of his name?
Vulture?
Guy. Is that Vulture?
Is that Vulture?
I think so. And here's Stimpy. This is what I care about.
Oh, and did you already showed the we opened with your Flurkins, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I was holding them. I can show them again, though. Pretty great.
They're the official mascot.
That's right.
Hayden McGee. Yeah, Sinister's the one with the creepy home movies. Yeah, it's really well done. And Hayden McGee thinks that's the Michael Keaton Vulture. I do too. Where'd you get it?
It was a mystery mini, which is why I don't know. I didn't choose it.
It was a mystery to you too.
I was like, I guess they're Spider-Man, right?
It was a mystery to you as well. So you had a busy week, so you're happy to be on the show and just talk comics with your buddies on the internet.
The best.
Yeah, it's fun. Just yapping about comic books.
It's fun even when you don't like one of the books.
Oh, we've got one of those.
There's one of those. And I was like, man, I wanted to love this, and nope. But I feel like
Oh.
it's important to tell the people, like, don't buy
Oh,
this.
yeah. Yeah,
It's like a PSA.
absolutely.
Or hey, buy it, but no, I didn't like it. Maybe you'll like it. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to start putting my opinion. This is, setting myself up for possible failure, but I'm going to start putting my opinion in with Faria's reviews because she hates a lot of books I love. So I'm just going to start putting in, I loved this book. And just
so people know.
Yeah, so people know, because she sways a lot of opinion on the collectors group page. And I want people to know that, that there's other voices out there besides just hers.
It's true. She recently reviewed Bottom Feeders, which I adored. As anyone who watches our show knows, the last episode I talked about it, and
Yeah, I wrote
still
that one
highly
down.
recommend it. And she was
Yeah,
like, "It's fine," and I'm like, "No, it was great." So different opinions.
Yeah, and she has a way of framing it so that as long as she explains why she doesn't like it, it's okay for her to not like it. And I'm like, no, it's not okay for you to not like it, even though you explained why you didn't like it. You didn't like it, and I loved it. Shouldn't count. Hey,
I mean,
Kenny,
it's still okay.
Kenny Crayley. Oh, I know, it's still okay, but it's more fun to argue with her.
I know. Especially like her reviews are so detailed and good.
Oh yeah,
she could convince anyone. Like, I think I suddenly hate that. I thought I loved it.
Yeah, I know. She took down Skyward the other day, and I was like, this cannot stand.
And that's funny because I'm right in the middle of you guys. Like, she was really like, I hate this, and you're like, I love it. I'm like, it's fine.
It's fine. You were neither overwhelmed nor underwhelmed. You were whelmed.
It kept me entertained while I read it.
And there's the English candy man, Rob McClay. We have lots of talk about candy. He and I share a love of candy. We've actually talked about candy for like half an hour before on text. So I am a nerd of many things.
I mean, what's your favorite candy?
My favorite I would say my favorite is either Skittles or Almond Joy.
Oh, those are good. Both good.
Yeah.
Although I can't, I like half the Skittles. I'll take a red and a purple, and I don't want the rest.
Oh, I see. I just whack them all back and don't discriminate.
Have them all together, yeah.
But I don't like the other. There's other flavor packs. I mean, like they come in different flavors.
Yeah, like the tropical and the weird ones. Yeah.
I don't. No. Yeah, I'm not digging
I don't like those either.
Here's a question for us from D.H. McAdams, also known as Doug McAdams, the kindest-hearted person in the world. He has a dog ranch with like 49 dogs on it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, love this show. Well, we love you. I'm waiting on the 2 Castle in the Stars books, which I think one of you recommended on the show. Thank you. That was me. Really looking forward to them. I hope I'm not getting shows confused. LOL. No, I've recommended them in the past on my show and on the Omnibus Collectors page.
On like every show.
Yeah, all the time. I sing the praises of that book. That was a recommendation from native French speaker Matthew Dubé, who turned me on to those. And that was a great recommendation from him. And they come out. There's another one coming up. The third one's coming out, well, next month, which is tomorrow, September. They come out once. There's 4 volumes. They come out every September because it takes a long time to translate them. They're natively written in French. So the third volume's coming out this month. I'm considering September this month now. So that's good news. You will love them. That's something that I wholeheartedly recommend to anyone who loves comics across the page, across the board. And I missed a question. How do you stand on this question?
I don't think I've ever even had a Clark bar, so I guess I have to go Butterfinger.
Yeah, that's old school. Clark's bar. Um, I remember those growing up. You can still get them in those candy stores that contain, the original kind of old school candy.
Or like Cracker Barrel or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had Clark bars recently, and I think I prefer Butterfinger to them. I think I like Butterfinger better. Oh, and here's something for you. I just ordered bottom feeders because of the Fangirls live show, even though I'm supposed to be adulting and saving money.
Yes, good job, Hayden. You're gonna enjoy it, I think.
My daughter's upstairs adulting, making her meals for the week for work. She has them in little containers, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, for her lunches. Yeah, that's way more organized than I was when I was in the workforce. And actually, bottom feeders reminds me that I didn't order it this week, and I meant to. So
you should.
I know you convinced me last time. You definitely convinced me.
I gotta know what you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, Castle in the Stars. Sometimes you have to get them on Amazon.
Yeah, the second one's about 50% off on Amazon if you want to risk that.
Yeah, Amazon is so weird. That Isabella book. I'm not sure how you say it. Have you read that yet?
No, I need to get it, but I want to. I've been looking at it.
I haven't read it yet, but it came and they made me sign it, not sign for it.
That's weird.
It was just a regular book, and it was just in a brown paper envelope.
Of course. That's why I won't do it. I've been burned too many times. It's not happening.
This is a good one. Jess, that plumber had no right to lecture you. You should have pulled the "Do you realize who you're speaking to" card. Yes, that is when my garbage disposal pipes got clogged, and it cost me $245 for him to snake the plumbing out. Jess, did you figure Goodreads out for cataloging? I am going to be honest and say I've been waiting for this weekend to come to. I'm restarting my inventory because I have found too many glitches in my CLZ. I'm going to go to.
I watched some of your video, man, and I don't really understand what you're doing. So we should have a private conversation about this, and maybe able to help you out. But if you're saying you want to use Goodreads to catalog, you can do that. It's easy.
I want to do Goodreads just for what I've read, and I want to do Book Buddy for inventory. It seemed easier. I don't know what's going on with CLZ. It doesn't.
I've never had an issue with it, and I have some obscure books.
I know, and I can't. It leaves the same books on there, and I can't get rid of them.
Yeah, mine doesn't do that either.
I know. You're blessed. You're blessed, and I'm cursed. I know.
I watched that video. I'm like, what does he even have up? I don't understand. Mine doesn't look like this at all. Like, what is he doing?
I know. Mine's all goofed up, so I think I'm just going to start over. It's not that bad. I've got plenty of new albums. I got that new Slater Kinney set that I got. I could crank the tunes tomorrow, and I'll just start all over. It's not like I got my whole, collection done. And I think I'm just going to start on Book Buddy, and it's too late.
Whatever works for you, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely need to use Goodreads.
Yeah, I definitely want to start doing that. So I'm going to definitely do that this weekend because it's a 3-day weekend, and which doesn't really mean anything to me.
It's not for me, sadly.
Oh, sadly, it's not for you.
I'm laboring on Labor Day.
That seems unfair.
I know.
If I was your boss, I'd have given you the day off.
That's what I get for working at a place that is open 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to have someone there.
Here's a good question. What's up with Amazon showing Saga Compendium only shipping in 1 to 2 months? In my opinion, wait, let's see if let me check IST real quick.
Yeah, it's on there.
Is it on IST?
It's on there because I saw this the other day. Image themselves was saying, like, showing it, I think. And they were just like, yeah, what's that about? Get it elsewhere. Like, go to your local
it's
comic
Amazon's
shop.
problem?
So it seems like it's Amazon's problem. Also, I would never order one of those chunky compendiums on Amazon ever, ever, ever.
Oh, because it's going to come damaged for sure?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even the Saga Deluxe Book 1, the hardcover, when that came out, every review on Amazon was saying, hey, this was damaged when I got it. The spine was messed up. Blah, blah, blah. There were so many bad reviews that Amazon took it off the site. Like, they took away the add to cart button. You couldn't buy it. And they were just like, hey, there's been issues. We're going to look into this. So many people are having issues. So yeah, I just don't do that. Go to IST. It's still on there. Last time I checked. I'll check now. And they have a code right now. So it's so smart. Get it there.
Huh. I don't think.
Yeah, it's still on there.
Yeah, but Worlds in Ink is in like South Africa, I think.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you. Apparently, I think some people looked up several Image books and they were all like 2 months out for some reason.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if Image is fighting Amazon on something. Because publishers do that quite often with Amazon. To the point of some have like pulled their books from Amazon. So it makes me wonder what's happening there.
Oh. Good evening, Dog and Cat. That's from Champion Puffa, like one of my most loyal subscribers. Thanks, Puff. He's been with me since the beginning. Before we get into the reviews, here is a really good question, and I'm only going to be able to answer it because Kristen's going to say something and I'll agree with it. Because I don't have any idea of what kind of independent books are coming out this year from here on forward.
You know, I have a list somewhere. Let me bring that up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What are some upcoming independent books y'all are looking forward to this? Was this from New England? This year. This year.
Let's see here.
There's Kevin Paul Sason. Hey, dude.
Well, I think we're both looking forward to the Umbrella Academy Library editions.
I actually have the slipcase edition.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I think you should, because they're awesome.
Let's see. Stargazing is a book I'm looking forward to. It's First Second. It is about Chinese American kids by Jin Wang, who did Prince and the Dressmaker, which I loved. And that came out this year. So that's coming out in September. I'm really excited about that.
Why are you excited? What is it about? Do you know?
Oh, I just told you what it was about.
No, you didn't. You said it's by a guy.
I said it's about Chinese American kids. That's all you got to know.
That's all I gotta know.
Like, that's cool. I want to read it.
Chinese American kids. What do they do?
I like the author. I don't care what they do. I like the cover, the author, and the publisher. That's all I need. I'm like, First Second, Jin Wang.
Okay, that's fair.
That's all I need.
Okay.
Also, Tea Dragon Festival by why can't I'm missing out on her name now. Where did I put that book? I love her stuff. Katy ONeil. And it is the sequel to the Tea Dragon Society, which I think came out last year. And it is about tea dragons, literally dragons. And you cut like these like leaves that come out of their head, and then you like cut them, and then you make tea, and they're tea dragons. It's it's cute. I love it.
God, I love having you on this show.
Because you're like, I would never read that.
No, I would. That's why I like the stuff you come up with. I would never have heard of that.
It's going to be great. I'm excited. Assassination by my friend Kyle Starks. Art by Erica Henderson. It is an Image book that they just finished up. It's just going to be 1 volume. I read the first issue, and it was very funny because Kyle's very funny.
What was the book that he did right before this? Right,
Well,
right after the hobo fights one. Because I just uncovered it in my to read pile. I'm
are you
like,
talking
oh
about Mars Attacks?
no, oh no.
That was the last one that came out.
Okay, how about before that?
Kill Them All?
Yes, I got
Okay.
it. That's in my to read pile.
Those are also good ones for anyone wanting more recommendations. Those are great.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm going through my list. I'm like, these are not. Bury the Lead by Gabby Dunn. It's a Boom series. It's a one and done original graphic novel. It is about a journalist. I read a different book by Gabby Dunn. So again, I go by author sometimes. I'm like, I love Boom. I love Gabby Dunn. And this is about some badass female journalist. So I'm into this. I'll read that. It's called Bury the Lead.
Cool. I like the name.
It's a good one. It's probably someone dies, I'm guessing. Barry. It's probably a play on words.
Okay.
And then Goldie Vance, there's a gift box set of all the trades coming out. That's also a Boom title. I think I talked about it on one of our early shows.
I feel like it.
It's set in like, I think the 60s, and it's about a girl, Goldie Vance. She's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes. So she solves mysteries. She like lives in a hotel, and it's just fun hijinks, and it's really fun. So they're coming out with a gift like box set of all the trades. So that'll be an economic way to collect everything. Those are some things I'm looking forward to.
Cool. Here are two things that just I love when people say this because it makes me feel good, and that I'm not just yelling out into the void. From Champion Puffa, Jess, I took your advice, grabbed Red Team Volume 1 and 2, loved them. Great story. So happy to hear that. I'm so glad when I can recommend something and somebody enjoys it. That makes me feel really good. And Jess, I've just finished reading Hillbilly Volume 1 through 4. Yay. And really enjoyed it. Pumped to read the old Goon stuff, which is on the way to me. You can't do much better than Goon and Hillbilly in an OmniDog's vault. I love that stuff. I love Eric Powell. He is amazing. Let's see. Mars Attacks, T-Dragons. Sounds like the best thing I didn't know I needed.
Yeah, Hayden, check out everything by Katy ONeil, because everything I've read by her is fantastic, and her art's amazing.
My Batman Deluxes came in today. That's awesome, Worlds in Ink. And let's see. Here's something from Talar Blunt. Jess, I just finished reading TMNT Volume 2. Great review you gave for the series and makes me really want to read more. All right. Thank you, Talar. I'm glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. TMNT, actually, that's one of the books I'm going to talk about today. I did a review the other day, but I was going to give this a brief mention since it's one of my new favorite reads. I really look forward to reading it.
You know, my husband Reed has been telling me to read that for quite a long time now, and I guess now I have to because you're reading it. So I'm going to tell him. You didn't make me do it. It was Jess. Jess made me read it.
I think you dig it. It's really fun. And it's not as hard to keep. I was always worried that I'd have trouble keeping track of which turtle's which, but it's not that hard.
They have colors.
Yeah. Oh, and there's Mary M. Hey, Mary M. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Mary.
So why don't we start talking about our books? Why don't you, since you're the cat?
Yep.
Cat can go first.
I got it. I'm going to go ahead and get the bummer out of the way.
The bummer.
I'm going to get the bummer out of the way. And, you know, like I was saying earlier, if I see a publisher and a cover that I like, I often just judge that book and I'm like, yeah, I'll try that, especially when it's free at the library, which is what this was. It is called Girl Town. Excuse my library barcode up here, by Carolyn Nowak. So went into this completely blind. I got to be careful about what I show here. There's some nudity.
Okay.
And I'm not. Yeah, this is good. Okay. So I like the art style. All I did was flip through it and was like, hey, I'll check that out. The cover drew me in. It's interesting. It's different. Also, Girl Town. I'm like, I'm a girl. I'll read this. It's by Top Shelf, which, I love Essex County. They publish that.
Mm-hmm.
So I start reading this, and I get about, let's see, I think that first story is about 10 pages, and then I realize, oh, these are all short stories, and that story didn't really end. Because then it goes on to, then there's a page break, and I'm like, wait a second. And then it goes on to something completely different with a totally different art style. And I'm like, hold on. Wait a second. What's happening? So, as with any short story collections, your mileage will vary between stories.
Right.
So that first one, I didn't love. I feel like it was about a group of girls, and suddenly there was a woman running around without arms, and then they were asking how she lost her arm. I know, that's what I said. What? So I was pretty confused by that one. The second story, though, was interesting. Again, it's all about girls. So these two girls are walking around. They're friends. I like the art style. They come up to this, what they thought was a closed shack. And then it opens up and they're like, all you can eat. Eat these fruits. So they started eating these fruits and weird things start happening to them. So each fruit does a different magical thing. So they're floating here. And another fruit made a double of themselves appear. And it's kind of hard to review this book without telling you what every single short story is, because they're short stories. But I like this one. So then I moved on to the next one, which was about this girl who's lonely, and she buys a robot guy to keep her company. And then he walks along life with her, and it's not that. It's a little weird. There's a little weird element, but mostly she has a companion. And this one lasted quite a long time, and then it kind of abruptly ended. And that made me mad. So then I just started being annoyed with every single short story I read in here, because I was like, wait a second. Then there was one in the middle that had too many words, and I still don't understand what this was.
Holy smoke, that looks like a book from the 60s.
It was tons of it was a podcast. So it was the audio from a fake podcast that these two girls were doing about some fake movie. It's not a real life movie, but it kind of made me think it was a Twilight-y movie. There was literally no point. That one did just end, and I was so mad. Because I read all this nonsense.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Again, nothing happened. So, and then I thought I was really going to enjoy this last one. And again, I like this art. But, again, finished the book, and I was like, that just abruptly ended. So I will say, this is on Comixology Unlimited if you want to check out Girl Town and see if you get really angry like I did, but mostly it just made me mad. That's all. I gave it kind of 2 stars for the art. I like the art.
That was a rage read.
Yeah, and I got to the point at the end where I was like, well, I got to have a book to review, so I'm going to finish this, and then I'll tell everybody I didn't like it. So sorry to waste your time, but don't waste your time and don't read this. That's what I say.
Wow.
Yep.
Holy smoke. Okay. Well, I'll share my first book was the fabulous...
Yeah, give somebody a happy.
Yeah, I'll give Mr. and Mrs. X, Gambit and Rogue Forever.
It is fabulous.
It is. It's so fabulous that they decided to cancel it.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Every good book.
Kelly Thompson just cannot catch a break. I don't know. Yeah. What is she, too good of a writer or something? I don't know.
That's how I feel.
I don't know, but we can do the easy part first. The art is fantastic. I love the art, love the coloring. I am more and more into the Gambit and Rogue relationship than ever before. They are captured and stuck in the Mojo-verse, and he messes with them fiercely, and Rogue is forced to confront her feelings of fear throughout this story. this first story, and it's very moving, and she has to definitely deal with her fear, which she goes back through her history and confronts different points in her life where she is fearful and fear has held her back. And so this is all, the first arc is dealing with Mojo and the Mojo verse. And uh, Mojo is a character I can kind of take or leave, but fortunately, the Kelly Thompson does a lot of good work with Rogue and Gambit, really delving deep into Rogue's psyche. And I thought that was a really excellent use of the Mojo verse to dive deep into her psyche, and uh, Gambit's too, to a certain extent. So I really enjoyed that story arc, and I really dug the art style. Then the next arc, the main arc, and of course, Rogue gets it together in time to kick major ass with the help from one of Mojo's assistants, who decides to take matters in her own hands and get. I don't want to. I was almost going to spoil something, but she takes matters in her own hands, helps Rogue and Gambit, and Rogue is not only charming and beautiful, but totally kick ass. Then the second half of the book has Gambit going to New Orleans so that he can reclaim his title as King of Thieves. Only the thieves and assassins guilds have merged with new leadership, and they decide that Gambit is no longer their leader. They chain him up. He's got all kinds of opposition lined up against him, and Rogue comes in to help him. And I like this one because there was a lot of thinking, a lot of trickery, a lot of not just smashing things, but a lot of using your brains to get out of situations by Gambit and Rogue. And it wasn't your typical superhero story. They had to really think their way out of these things. And I really enjoyed the art and colors in this book, and I really enjoyed the part about how they had to think their way out of this part and use their brains and not just muscle and fight their way out of things. And I was really saddened by the last part of this, because it's Kelly Thompson's big goodbye letter, and just tears me up that a book like that, that's so good, is done after 3 books. You know, the first one, Gambit and Rogue, and then the second one, the last 2 issues, last 2 trades of Mr. and Mrs. X. And I just, I could read 3 more trades of that. It's so fun.
It's so annoying because that would have been like a dream omnibus for me.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
A total dream. I mean, Rogue's my favorite anyway, but I also love that story. And gosh, it would have been such a nice, like, kind of smaller omnibus.
Yeah, just give me 2 more trades and make that thing an Omni, and that would have, you're right, that would have been a dream come true. And I don't get it. I mean, she should have like a 50-issue run on something. Her writing is really on point. She is one of the best writers in comics, and I'm not sure why. I don't see how this book doesn't sell. I mean, it's 2 of Marvel's most popular characters in stories that totally rock, with great art. It's not like they're sticking her with, crappy artists. I just am, I'm just perplexed. I'm really deflated by that.
I mean, maybe she'll have better luck with Deadpool. I would think so.
Well, Deadpool's one of my favorite characters, and she's one of my favorite writers. So if they only give her 12 issues of that and cancel it, I'm a slap Marvel.
I think
That's
at this point, like I want her to start her own indie series. And then
yeah,
be able to like have a really thick run of something.
yeah. Is she doing anything else besides Deadpool?
I mean, not that I know of. Like I've read different things, but
Freddie Alonso says hopefully her Captain Marvel lasts a chunky omnibus worth. I think I think I may have ordered that Captain Marvel based on the fact that she's writing it.
Yeah, I want to read that, but ooh, that cover.
Oh, is that the one with the bad? Yeah, that's the one with the weird cover.
The Amanda Connor too.
I know, like, that's right. That's so weird.
I don't know what it is, but she really can't do Captain Marvel. She needs to stop. Just like the omnibus cover, which I hated, of Miss Marvel.
Yeah. Well, maybe her Captain Marvel will get a good run. I've got to read that. I ordered that this week.
I hope so.
Let's see what some of the comments are. Still. Okay. So, yeah, everybody go ahead and get this and be happy with what we got, I guess. Volumes, yeah. 3 volumes.
At least we got 2 volumes. Well, yeah, I guess 3 technically.
If you count Rogue and Gambit, yeah. Be glad we got 3 volumes, I guess, is the way you got to look at it.
Yeah, it's sad but true. So speaking of sad but true, oh, that's good. It's nonfiction. Speaking of my husband Reed too, which I mentioned before, I've started to finally read the things that he's like, you should read this, which mostly I do to him. But every now and then there's something. And then I'm like, later. And I finally did. So I read Andre the Giant.
Oh, interesting.
By Box Brown. I am someone who knew nothing about Andre the Giant, other than that guy's a wrestler and he's a giant.
You never seen Princess Bride?
I actually haven't, no. I know. That's what I'm told. Reed does that same noise to me when I say that. Even like, there's obviously a part in here that talks about his time on Princess Bride and like different people's perspectives of like interactions with him. Yeah, it meant nothing to me. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't watch it. One day.
Gosh.
But Box Brown is great at like nonfiction work. I love his really simplistic art. And that's what this is. If you don't know anything about Andre the Giant, he was a giant wrestler. He was over 7 feet tall and like 600 pounds. And I also don't care about wrestling. But Box Brown does a really good job of telling a story in a factual way that makes you interested in the subject. So if you like nonfiction works, you do get to like, really dive into his life and learn about how he was. There are differing stories, I guess. Some people say he was sometimes sweet. Other times he's really a jerk. So you kind of get to see both of those things. And mostly I thought he was a jerk just from like the stories depicted in here. So I didn't, it's hard to totally love a story when you think the main character isn't like a nice person, right?
Yeah.
But I still really enjoyed learning about him. He is an anomaly in history. It is an interesting story. And, I did feel for him because when you're that tall and you're that big, you're going to be looked at by people. People are going to make fun of you to your face. Like, he did go through stuff. And throughout the end of his life, his health was declining because his body kept growing. He had a condition that, like, meant he was going to keep growing and growing and growing. And his heart couldn't handle that. So that's ultimately how he ended up dying. But yeah, this is just the story of his whole life and his wrestling career. And again, I don't care about wrestling at all. I know a lot of comic fans do love wrestling. There's that overlap of interests, which I've never really understood, but I do know people like that. So if you are interested in wrestling at all, or you want to know more about this guy, this is a great book for it. I think it won like several awards, and because that's what Box Brown stuff does. But yeah, so I liked it. I thought it was well done. but it was hard to love just because I didn't think he was like a great person. But it is fascinating.
Did it talk about how much it took to get him drunk?
Yes.
Yeah, because
that's a pretty consistent thing in here. Yeah.
Yeah, because he did a lot of drinking, and it takes a lot to get him, like a case of vodka or something, to get him drunk or something crazy.
Yeah, like someone even asked that at some point in here. They're like, well, how much does, like, he goes to the hospital and they're like, we don't know how much anesthesia to give this guy. Like, what do we do? And he's like, they asked one of his friends, like, how much does it take to get him drunk? And they're like, well, a whole bottle of vodka, he'll be kind of tingly. So that's the most fascinating part, like what he could and couldn't do. Like when he went to Japan, because, he traveled everywhere to put on these shows. When he went to Japan, like, he literally couldn't use the restrooms. They were too small. Like, a bed never fit him. Like, clothes obviously wouldn't fit him. And just things you don't think about because it's such a rarity for a person this tall and big to exist. So it was fascinating in that sense. And I recommend it if that's at all interesting to you.
Yeah, that book's been on my radar for years because I've always been interested in him, just as you say, he's an anomaly. Yeah. Gee, I'm sorry that it sounds like he wasn't that nice of a person.
Yeah, but it was still fascinating. So, you can step back from that. And not every character has to be likable, of course, but I do prefer that.
Well, yeah, sure. Let's see. Here's a question. Jess, when you were young, did everyone think wrestling was real? I don't think that there's ever been a time, maybe back in ancient Greece and Rome, wrestling was real, but I don't know that anybody ever thought wrestling was real when I grew up.
That's another thing, that the whole thing is prefaced with this essay by Box Brown. That's basically said, isn't it fake? A note about the nature of professional wrestling in comics, which again was fascinating in that alone, because that is not something that I'm into. I mean, this few pages long. And it was one of those things where back when he was around, like, you weren't supposed to talk about how it was fake.
Oh, right.
You were supposed to go with the kayfabe, which is, the art of, like, wrestling is, like, keeping your audience thinking that it's real, basically. That's not the case anymore, but I guess maybe it is. Again, I'm not into it. I don't know, but
I don't know.
It's fascinating too.
Yeah, I don't know a thing about it, so I can't even comment on it. I do know that there's a lot of comic book fans that are really into wrestling.
There is a huge overlap. It is kind of something I've never really understood.
The Venn diagram on that is giant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. What did I read next? I read the only disappointment in this book. I read Southern Cross by Becky Cloonan, volumes 1 and 2. And the only disappointment in this book is it's 2 books, and volume 3 has taken, like, it doesn't seem like it's ever going to come out. So, and it's going to take me a second to describe really what's going on in this book. She doesn't draw it. She draws the covers. She's very talented. It's about a woman that goes, there's a mining colony on the moon of Titan that's made of ice and oil. So there's miners there, and she gets on board a ship called the Southern Cross that is bound for there, and she wants to find out more about the death of her sister. And while she's on board the Southern Cross, weird things start happening. The ship is powered by a gravity engine, and this is a murder mystery science fiction book, and it's really, really good. She doesn't have her hands completely clean. She's been a thief in a previous iteration. Her roommate is actually been sent to Titan to look into, it turns out, her sister's death also. Um, she finds out because her roommate goes missing, and she starts looking into the files. There's all kinds of course nefarious people on board, paid to look the other way, paid to try and kill other people. There's hardly anybody good on board. They're all, I don't know, I don't even know if this woman's really that good of a person. But trippy things start to happen because an artifact is found, dug up. An artifact is dug up on the moon, Titan, and it's apparently able to alternate time space. And it's on board the Southern Cross, and it starts altering the gravity engine and people's minds, and it starts to mess with everything. And she is finding herself getting closer to the truth, and at the same time, not really trusting her feelings or trusting what's real and what's not real. And by the end of this book, the ship goes missing, and Titan, it's not answering Titan's signals, and it's not answering Earth's signals. So book 2 takes us to Titan and tells us the version of events from the Titan perspective, which is really an interesting turn of events, because now we're getting a different perspective on how things are. It's a completely different thing, which I thought was a really good twist. This is on the mining colony on Titan, which is about to go completely rogue and have everybody, all the workers are about to riot and rebel, and they're about to dig up another artifact here, and they are there appears to be at least one good person in this story, and she's on Titan. She's the assistant to the person in charge of the mining colony, and he gets offed real quick, and she's not put in charge, but she is a retired detective, and she's got the only gun on the planet, or the moon rather, and she's going to start doing some digging of her own. And are we sure that the woman's sister is really dead? There's some of that going on too, with some of this gravity, time warping, dimension stuff going on. We're not really sure that she's dead because she's appearing in people's visions. And not only that, but the sister that was on the ship and was experiencing gravity warping stuff also is now appearing on Titan. How's that possible? Well, you're going to have to read this book, but here's the issue, and this is a big issue. These 2 books are really good, really compelling, and really interesting, but they were put out in 2017, and only 2 issues have been written since.
Oh, wow. I
know. So if you get them, it's going to be like Copperhead. You're going to have to be prepared to wait. So I recommend reading them, but if you're somebody that, see, I've got basically this whole room is my to read pile, so I can go ahead and read stuff. It's not like I'm going to be sitting here twiddling my thumbs, but I don't even know when the last issue Becky Cloonan wrote, I think, came out at the beginning of this. No, it came out in 2018.
Wow.
And it's a long time to wait, and I don't know that I would recommend it to people if they don't want a full story. I think this thing can be wrapped up in a 3rd trade fairly easily, but I don't know. Should I tell people to go out and buy it and then hold their breath for another year and a half? I don't know. It's good. I enjoyed it. It's a very original story told from two different, very distinct viewpoints, but it's kind of like recommending Copperhead. I love Copperhead, but it's not complete and you're going to have to wait.
Well, I don't know if you see Daniel K in the chat, but I guess it may be discontinued.
Issues 13 and 14 make it even harder that it may not be finished.
So that's a bigger bummer.
I'm not sure I understand. Does that?
He said, I'm so sad about the possible discontinuation of Southern Cross.
Oh. I didn't see that part. So, okay. I'm so sad about the possible discontinuation. To which I think this is up to, it's 1 through 12. These two contain 1 through 12. Is contained in these.
That is quite a long wait.
Yeah, make it even harder that it may not be finished. I have heard that it won't be finished. Well, that stinks. Oh, you've read different things over time? Oh, life is unfair.
I mean, it's been what, like over a half a year now since something's come out?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I may just read the 2 books on Comixology and then just give it a send off. That's kind of a bummer.
That is a bummer. I like those covers a lot.
Yeah, she did
cool.
she did the covers. Becky Cloonan did the covers.
I like it.
Yeah. Becky Cloonan, very talented woman. Writes and draws. Which kind of pisses me off. I think this is a funny comment. I'm British and we had to wait 5,000 years between seasons of Sherlock, so I'm prepped for the waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've waited longer for some stuff.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but Copperhead, that's one thing that comes out very slowly. Very slowly. So, and then what's the Rick Remender book that takes the artist so long to
Deadly Class?
No, well, there's another one. It's only in trade paperback now, and it's taking the artist so long to draw the damn thing that it's got
low.
3. No, it's not collected. It's only in trade paperback right now.
Joe Chip is guessing low. So
okay. It's only in trade paperback right now. It's 3 issues. Not Black Science. It's not collected in big chunky things. It's only in trade paperback. 3 trade paperbacks, and it's got fabulous art.
This is the worst game of Jeopardy ever.
It's more like charades. Sounds like, looks like. Where do I have it? Wait, it's right here. Just a sec.
I don't know the answer. Oh, is it 7 to Eternity? We'll see when he comes back. I hope he didn't go upstairs for it.
Seven to Eternity.
Someone guessed it.
You are correct, Shahazarad. 7 to Eternity. That is frustrating because it's such intricate art. It's taking the artist forever to do it. It's brilliant art, but it's I think it's Jerome Opeña, and it's taken forever.
Well, is it my turn? I'm going to bring a controversy into the show.
Ooh, goody! Because you read a book by Brian Wood.
Hell no.
Not that controversial.
I wouldn't touch those books before all this, so because this has been going on. Anyway, I hear they're good. You can read them if you want. I don't care. Anyway, I read a manga that I'm going to talk about.
A manga? Good for you.
Here's the deal. The controversy. I mean, I felt like this was speaking of Venn diagrams, with you and manga, Junji Ito.
Oh, yeah.
Is where that connects, right?
Yeah.
And this is, I don't know if you can tell. Well, there's a lot of spot gloss of like creepy creatures on this. I don't know if you can tell at all. Can you kind of see that?
Yeah, they're like little eye creatures on the rails.
Yeah, and even I'm not used to this mirroring still. I don't know. You can't tell. But anyway, I'm going to take this off because the book under it is really creepy too.
Is this short stories?
Yes. So this is Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito. It is a collection of short stories. So I read another one of those. But guess what? This one was great versus Girl Town, which is not great. So, a lot of people love Junji Ito. I still haven't read Uzumaki. Haven't you read that one?
That's the one I've read, yeah.
That's the one you read. I love the art. Love his art. And his storytelling is so creepy. And I don't know how to review this without telling you about every single short story, but they're great. They're all great. This first one is about this family, this father and daughter. They purchase this house that is like an historical home. And so they have to give tours of it because it is technically a historical home. So they give these tours. Here's some creepy stuff. This one lady knocks on the door. She was the lady at the beginning that I was showing. This lady here. And she's like, "Hey, I'm in love with this house. Can I just stay here and study the architecture and, live with you guys, and I'll take care of you guys instead of rent. I'll cook for you and I'll take care of you and stuff." So, one night, and the daughter was like, "That's weird, Dad. Why would you let her do that?" But he did because he's a dad. I don't know. And one night the girl is like, what is she doing in there? What's going on? And she sees this. I think I can show a butt. Can I show a butt?
Yeah, we're butt friendly.
Okay. So she sees this situation happening. And she's like, what is she doing with the house? So then all this creepy stuff starts happening with the house and her loving the house. And
she's loving the house?
Loving the house. And kind of turns into, I guess I'm kind of ruining the story, but it was so creepy that I got to show some of it. What is happening here?
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's the first one. I won't go through all of them. I won't ruin the whole thing. But and the second story is about this couple that broke up. This guy was cheating on this girl, and he's walking around holding his head. So you realize that he's holding his head down because he had an affair with this fortune teller lady who ended up being a witch, and she severed his head from his body. So and said, if you don't force your head down, I'm trying to get some stuff I could actually show you. If you don't keep your hands on your head and make sure it stays down, then your head's gonna fall off. The usual stories.
I've had some bad breakups, but
yeah, this is
that.
Bad. This is pretty bad. So, then he's walking around and he goes to his ex-girlfriend I'm so sorry, I messed up, and also my head's gonna fall off. But there's some great ones throughout here. Some are better than the others, but I did genuinely enjoy all of them, and they're all creepy and real weird, like you would expect from this guy. I think one of my favorites was really this last one about it was called Whispering Woman.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's gorgeous. And it was about this girl who here you can see all the bubbles here. She questions everything, every single decision. She can't make a decision. She gets super anxious. This first one, I'll read some of these. Should I run? Should I walk? Should I sit? Can I blink? Is it okay to stand? Should I sleep? So her dad hires these people, so many that they keep quitting because of what they have to do. they basically have to make every decision of her life for her because she can't do it. So all these people he ends up hiring, they can't handle her constant questions. Like they're just like, it's too much. I'm gonna quit. So here's all the people quitting. Here's her. It's like asking all these questions, and they can't handle it. They can't handle her mental state and like what it does to them. So he tried kind of a rotating shift of people, and that didn't work out for her. So he finally found this girl who was really, really good at it, and she would walk around behind her and whisper in her ear all the decisions she needs to make.
Oh.
So that was her job. And because it was like 16-hour days, she starts to look pretty ragged. And the girl, that's the girl who needs the decisions made. And that's the woman that he hired. So she's starting to look real creepy. And I won't give away the end of it.
Page right there. What a great drawing that is.
Yeah, I won't give away the end of it. But yeah, his art is just gorgeous. And it was so good. And the end was so good. So I really, really enjoyed this. Fragments of Horror.
Even though it came with a dust jacket?
Even though it came with a dust jacket. Yeah, I took it off to read it. And look, hey, this is a good cover, but look at this gorgeous book. Come on. Yeah. You don't need that dust jacket. Like, you don't need it. And it's kind of shiny and black. It's creepy. So if you like Shuji Ito, you're going to like this.
Yeah, I do have two more of his books. And I don't have that one, so I should probably get that one. Ooh.
But yeah, it's full of creepiness, but they're unique stories, and he's just really good at what he does. I liked it a lot.
Here's something directed at you from Joe Chip.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting because if anyone knows about No Longer Human, it's a huge novel in Japan. Or is it a novel or nonfiction? Does anybody know? I feel like it may be nonfiction. But it was adapted by someone for Vertical. I can't see it. It's on my shelf. There's 3 volumes of that, and it's super out of print. I absolutely despised it. So I am curious to see. And it was an adaptation of that original telling into a manga form. So I'm curious if Junji Ito is going to get me to like that, because I really hated that first adaptation.
Wow.
Hated it. Ooh, it was bad.
Holy smoke.
We'll yeah. But I am looking forward to it.
My next book is something that I'm going to review in a while. I still have another couple books to read for it. It's going to be what to read if you liked the Authority Omnibus. It's going to be a book about Wildstorm books. And my book is the Midnighter Wildstorm Wildstorm Classic, the complete Wildstorm Midnighter collection. And Garth Ennis's name is prominently mentioned, but he really writes only the first big arc and then the next story. And then Keith Giffen writes a whole lot of it. There's also a Brian K. Vaughan story in it that's really good. I think his name's Christus Gage. I'm locking up here. And others. Wait, I know his name is like Christus Gage or something. I'm on the air looking for things that I should have written down. Actually, the point I was going to make is I'm generally not the biggest Keith Giffen fan, but in this book, the Midnighter stories he wrote were really good. I'm happy to say. Now, the first story is that involving Midnighter. It involves he's on the Authority spacecraft, and he is blackmailed into going back in time and killing Hitler. And in doing so, they place a bomb in his chest. And so if he doesn't go back and kill Hitler, he it's by somebody that says that his parents were in that he and his parents were in a concentration camp, and he wants Hitler killed before he can start the Holocaust. So it's a much more intricate tale than that, because from the year 2900 or something, the time police, the temporal cops, come in and stop Midnighter from messing with the timeline. So now he's not only got to battle the guys who have, he's got to try and kill Hitler, or he's going to get blown up because he's got a bomb in his chest, but he's got to deal with the temporal police who want to get him out of there for trying to mess with the timeline. So if this goes on for 3 or 4 issues, and it's by Garth Ennis, so it's really quite good. And the ending is fan-freaking-tastic to this storyline. It is really good. It ended in a way that I was really surprised at, and I was just delighted with the way he handled the time police, Hitler, and the guy that blackmailed him into doing it. Then he writes a story that is basically the Midnighter set in feudal Japan, with art by Glenn Fabry. And so it's a very interesting story, really well done. The Midnighter in feudal Japan as a warrior back then, I thought it was really well done. Then Brian K. Vaughan tells a story after that. That's the end of the Garth Ennis stories. Then Brian K. Vaughan tells a story backwards. You don't have to read it backwards. I cheated. I went to the end and read it manga style. And it was really good. Brian K. Vaughan did a wonderful job with Midnighter there. This was a really good story. Who wrote this? Yeah, Christos Gage. This is one where he's challenged to mix and mingle with ordinary people, that he's losing his common touch, that he's not doing a good job mixing in with regular people, that he should just, and they pick randomly a job for him to do, and it's helping a little girl find her cat. And
well, now I have to read it.
Yeah. And of course, it's not as simple as that. It leads into a much bigger and deeper thing that is really a lot of fun and very interesting, and handled only the way Midnighter can handle it. And it was a blast to read that story. And I don't necessarily need to go through every single story, but the writing in all of these stories is really very, very good. I mean, I don't know what the worst story was, but pick the worst story and it was at least very good. The stories range from very good to excellent, and I thought this Midnighter collection was all just really worthwhile, really good, written by writers that understood Midnighter, the Midnighter, and I think that it is very much going to be a highlight of the video that I make. So I still have a couple other books to read before I can make the video, but okay, Midnighter. I thought there was a "the" there. Midnighter. So I dug it a lot.
That sounds real cool.
Yeah, as I say, I'm not really that big of a Keith Giffen fan, but his issues here were solid, really, really good, and I enjoyed his stuff a lot. The art was really good, and I liked how they used they put him in a different situation too, where they tried to find his previous identity before he was taken and made Midnighter, and he tries to get reintroduced into that society and act like a regular citizen, and that's almost the last third of the book. And I thought that was the Keith Giffen part, and I thought that was really well done.
Awesome. I may have to check that out. I won't tell you where. You know. Hoopla.
On Hoopla.
All right. Well, what I read next, I've been wanting to read for a very long time, and I just kept putting it off. I can't tell you why. You know how this happens, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
But that is LumberJanes and Gotham Academy.
Oh, I've read Gotham Academy, but I've never read this.
Well, yeah, Gotham Academy is amazing. LumberJanes is one of my favorite series. So them combined was fantastic. Both of them have a lot in common. If you like Gotham Academy, you'll probably like LumberJanes for the same reason as, you know, kids and their hijinks, really, right?
Yeah.
You know, LumberJanes, it's a group of girls and they're camping and there's a lot of monsters and mythical things and stuff happens and they're funny. And that's pretty much the same deal as Gotham Academy. There's teenagers and maps. The maps equivalent in this book is Ripley in LumberJanes. Like those characters, it's like each character had kind of a character that was very similar in the other series. So them teaming up was just sort of perfect. So they kind of meet up in the woods, and of course, some of them go missing, and they have to team up to figure out what on earth is going on and where these people are. Pretty much an older counselor for LumberJanes and one of the teachers from Gotham Academy go missing. Let me find this creature that they run into, who basically like kidnapped them and put them in a room. Where are these things?
Oh, come on. You're live on the air and you're looking for something?
Come on. These creepy skeleton guys, all right, end up kidnapping these professors, and they de-age them, and they become a part of this group of people. And slowly, characters from each side like get caught in this room that's set in the 80s. It's 1986. And the same thing keeps happening over and over again. A birthday party for this girl, Louise. It's her 16th birthday. This is her. And these creepy skeleton guys like kind of do her bidding. And they get all these people there to come to her birthday party. And what you end up finding out, I mean, I won't ruin the whole story, but when she was 16, she was terrible to a lot of people. I don't know what happened. What happened here? But she was terrible to a lot of people. So all of her so-called friends, you know, she was like a mean, popular kid. And she would do things to her friends, but then manipulate them like, oh, you got to stop talking to so-and-so. Well, but I got you tickets to that concert, like that sort of thing. So she ended up being terrible to all these people. So when her 16th birthday came up, they were like, you know what? We're just not going to show up. So she had the worst 16th birthday party ever, and it traumatized her, and she got stuck in this world where she's just trying to recreate it to be the perfect party. And so these creepy monsters are part of it, and you're trying to figure out like why and what's happening. Does she stay 16? She's still 16, yeah, but it's been 30 years.
And she stays 16 for 30 years trying to recreate this party?
So like
that is so cool.
Yeah, so like in this universe or wherever this place they're stuck in, it's 1986. And so they realize, well, we got to recreate this party and make these things that she wanted to happen somehow, even though some of the people that were at the party are maybe dead. And like, so all these things are happening. These characters are coming together. You don't even have to have read like either series to enjoy this, I don't think. Like you can just jump in and you'll really enjoy the characters. It's a standalone story. I think it's about 6 issues or so. trying to look on the back here. I think it's about 6. And it's a really good quality trade. DC and Boom put it out together. And it feels like a Boom trade. Like it's nice and it's thick, and the pages are really thick and nice, and there's a great cover gallery in the back, because a lot of people did great covers. But yeah, it's really great. It was really fun, and if you like either series, you're gonna love this. If you haven't read either one, you may like it. And
now, I've read Gotham Academy, but not LumberJanes. Would I be able to understand it?
100%.
Okay.
Because they like reintroduce you to all the characters for both of them. So yeah, you don't have to be familiar, but I think you'll have fun with it. And it's fun art and colors, and it's great. I had a really great time with this. I loved it. And if you have Comixology Unlimited, the whole thing's on there.
I loved Gotham Academy.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay. I'm going to go back to Smotlock is jamming me up for not liking Keith Giffen, but Scheherazade, we need to shorten your name, Scheherazade. Can I call you Sherry? Am I saying it right? Scheherazade. Yeah, Scheherazade. I'm going to call you Sherry. She actually got the exact reason I don't like Keith Giffen. Jess, not a wahahaha Justice League fan at all, nor a Lobo fan. That is exactly right. I am not a fan of Justice League International, known as the wahahaha days, when Blue Beetle and Booster Gold would be sitting in the corner laughing, and not a fan of Lobo, Keith Giffen's Lobo. It's just not my style of comic book. So that she nailed it exactly right. If you can think of some other Keith Giffen stuff that he wrote that's not Justice League bwahaha, then I might like it. If you can think of some stuff, but that's really all I can think of to base it on. Jail I was awesome. Jess hates fun. No, I just never. That just wasn't my Justice League. I never warmed up to it. I didn't. That's something I never even bought and resold. I just never even bought it.
Jess, you're not on screen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I do that a lot. I get stuck. Okay, here's something from Daniel K. Looked into Southern Cross again. Andy Belanger said on Instagram almost a year ago that the third trade is almost done and the rest will come closer together. I don't know. Okay, there's only 2 issues out since then. Tyler Blunt and I reviewed this book on yesterday, I think, but not everybody subscribes to my channel necessarily, or may not have had a chance to view the episode. So this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 2. And we're going to do a volume a month until we catch up to Volume 9, or by that time there may be Volume 10. And I think there are a lot of turtle heads out there. I was not one of them. I got talked into this series by Gio from OmniBros. And I bought one book and liked it so much. I bought, actually, I didn't buy the rest. A really great guy sent it to me as a gift. And Jimmy Pasantes sent it to me, along with the Captain America by Jack Kirby Mad Bomb omnibus that I had been looking for. So shout out to Jimmy for that. But if you've watched any TMNT cartoons, this apparently draws a lot from the cartoons, but I have no knowledge whatsoever of any TMNT stuff, so it's all brand new to me. and I loved it all. They introduced a lot of new characters and a lot of new scenarios. And Tyler was beside himself with excitement because he loves the turtles so much. They introduced the superpowered, superhuman strength Slash turtle. He has a black mask. He's gigantic. He's escaped from the lab. They introduced, they didn't introduce, but they gave more. Uh, um, they introduced Fugitoid, who turns out, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it turns out he's somebody important in this dimension and his own dimension. They mentioned more, they fleshed out more about Dimension X and the, I'm going to mess this up, who the other people are in the dimension. Oh, what are their names? There's a whole other dimension and it's full of other people. They're like the Centaurs or something. They're the Chitauri. What are they? Anyway, it says they're. He had to keep reminding me of their name because I just got introduced to them. And we get they get we get introduced more to the reincarnated enemy of Splinter and the Turtles and his granddaughter. And it seems like a lot of stuff is going on in this book. The art is split up. There's a lot of different art going on because there's a lot of one-shots that take place in here, but the mapping is really good. And it flows really well and reads like one continuous story. I don't have any complaints about it whatsoever. I thought it was a super fun read. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward to. I wish we were reading more than one a month. I'd like to read the whole thing, just boom. But he talked me into reading Spider-Man 2099 for next week. So I highly recommend these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles books. They're all back in print now. At various times between now and January, they will all be back in print. So don't pay any rip-off prices for any of them because they were all back in Diamond's ordering system, and you should be able to get all of them. They're beautiful. They come with a ribbon as a bookmark.
So good.
Yes. No dust jacket, so you just have Perfect. The book. Yep. See, I'm talking to you right there. It brings in a lot of really fun elements. It's not too complicated. It's a lot of stuff going on in the backstory, but they always concentrate on what's right in front of you, and I found it really fun, and I'm really excited that I've discovered a whole new universe and concept and everything. So I highly recommend Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I never thought I would.
That's great. You're keeping your mind open.
Absolutely.
You're letting your friends direct where you go sometimes, and it's working out for you. That's awesome.
I let my friends direct me a lot of the time. They push me in the right directions all the time. I'm
about to push you there too.
Okay.
So, are you a Craig Thompson fan?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, right?
Sure.
I finally read Space Dumplins.
What the hell is that? I didn't even know he wrote that book.
I believe Graphics, which is a Scholastic imprint, put it out. So it is.
Space Dumplins.
Yeah, it's aimed toward a younger audience. She is 12, and it is about this girl. And it is awesome. I loved everything about it. So if you love Craig Thompson and how he writes, and he, draws and letters everything, and guided to the colors, which, what's his name? I'll credit him because he was so good. Maybe I won't because I can't find it. Well, whoever did the colors was great because it's fantastic. But I love his art. I love his lettering. I love his character work. It's so good. So Space Dumplins is about this girl and her family. So there's her mom and her dad and her. And they live in space. Of course, Space Dumplins.
No, they're Space Dumplins.
So her dad's like a lumberjack, and he does contract work at like a sawmill and various other like weird jobs in space.
Wait, there's sawmills in space?
Yeah, it's different though. Like everything that you think you know about things is different in space. I don't know. Like there's whales, there's space whales, and they're very dangerous. So they eat like whole ships and stuff. So there's all these different like class rankings, and like her family is not like wealthy, and basically a giant space whale consumes her elementary school. So the first problem they encounter is they're like, oh, we got to figure out where she has to go to school. She's a kid. She's like 12. Where are we going to enroll her at? So they try all these different schools, and her mom is a designer. She designs like clothing and stuff. And this wealthy guy here, he lives on like a really fancy, wealthy planet, and she gets a promotion to go there and design with him. So she brings, why can't I think of her name? The girl. She brings the girl, I forget her name right now, but she brings her to work with her, and she's like, oh, we could apply you for this like fancy space school with all this great technology and stuff. We could try to get you in there. Well, of course, her dad has like a record. So they were denied. Here's the fancy space planet. Everything's like the most up-to-date technology, and the rich people come here, and of course they're pretty judgy and stuff. So she was denied school there. So she meets, when she is there with her mom, she meets this little chicken guy, and he's like, he's also a little kid, and basically the chicken species has evolved throughout the years where no one consumes them anymore because they're very, very intelligent, like human level intelligent, if not smarter. And he's like an orphan and very, very smart. So she meets him. She has a friend in like a junkyard. I'm trying to find him. There he is. And he's like, I don't know what kind of creature he is, but he's a little creature. So what ends up happening is her dad does this independent like contractor job, and he goes missing. And she's like, I gotta find my dad. And
this
they're like,
trucker dad guy?
Yeah, like the lumberjack dad guy.
Okay. Oh, lumberjack, right.
Yeah, so that's her mom and her, and they're freaking out because her dad is missing now, and they can't, like, all these rich people with like the missing people database won't help them because they're like below them and stuff. So there's again a lot of class stuff throughout this that's sad and interesting.
Yeah,
but no one will help like her mom. Like she goes to everyone. She's like, my husband's missing. What's So then of course the girl wanders off, and she's like, oh, I can pilot like a little ship, and I can go find my dad, and probably she shouldn't. So that ends up happening. So she goes on the space adventure to find her dad, who you find out was swallowed by a giant whale in his ship. So he's like in the gut of a whale. It's hijinks. It's crazy, but it's so good. And like, so Craig Toston just makes up this whole crazy universe in space, and with amazing, amazing art. And I love all of the characters, and it's also just really funny, and it is accessible to a younger audience, but it's also, I'm an adult and I loved this.
This book sounds great.
Oh, it's so good. I think you'll really enjoy it too. It's just in the art. I mean, look at this gorgeous art. I'm not over it. But that's what ends up happening. So it's a big space adventure with this girl, and she's such a good character, and they're all like great. You'll love every character in this. It's so fun, and it is a great adventure that everyone needs to go on. So I definitely highly recommend Space Dumplins by Craig Thompson.
Look at this. Didn't know Craig Thompson had even done this. Want, need, covet.
You gotta get it. It's so good. You gotta get it. And I believe there's a paperback and a hardback, but obviously get the hardback. Or the paperback if you like them. Whatever. Either way, it's great.
Let's make sure tell me what books so I can list them
Do you want me to send you a list?
No, let's just do it now. Yeah,
Okay.
these guys, they can ask questions while we're talking.
Well, that's
Well,
Space Dumplins by Craig
yeah,
Thompson.
I got that.
Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito.
Oh yeah, I think I might need to get that. That might be the one manga that I keep going on reading.
He puts out consistently great stuff.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
short, so you won't have to read right to left that long. Because it's little. LumberJanes Gotham Academy.
Oh yeah. I wonder if Gabe knows about that. He's the one that turned me on to Gotham Academy.
It's real fun.
Gotham Academy. Yeah. And then the book you hated. Oh, Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant by Box Brown.
And then the loathsome book.
The book I didn't love was Girl Town.
Girl Town.
Although, again, I did like the art.
Right.
He gets a little bit of points for that.
Right. Okay, good. Well, that's it for books for me. Do we have any questions in the chat for either myself or the fabulous Kristen? Now is the time to ask because we have a little time on our hands. Very little. We're busy people. Things to do.
Smartlock said Goodbye Chunky Rice is their favorite. One of their favorite comics ever. I love that one. That one's great.
That might be one of the first graphic novels I've ever read.
I read that pretty early on too.
Yeah, I read that really early. Does anyone know if Old Lady Harley is worth picking up? Let me go get it and look at it, and I'll tell you. Just a sec. I picked it up because I have to, because it's Harley. Jess, have you read any of Giffin's Legion? Yeah, I have some of it, and I actually did like that Legion. I liked a lot. I liked everything that I read. Let me go get Old Lady Harley. I think I know right where she is.
Recommended pickups for September. I know Spider-Man by John Byrne's coming out. I don't know if that's good. I'm gonna get the Donald Duck box set that's coming out, the Carl Barks stuff. That is, I think, next week. So that's what I'm getting. Are You Listening by Tilly Walden? I'm also looking forward to that. I love everything she's done. Umbrella Academy Library Edition. There's a Rugrats trade coming out. I love Rugrats, so I'm gonna get that. The Disney Masters Collector's box set. There's one of those coming out. I'm gonna have to get that because I love those. I think there's another Duck box set at the end of the month, or did I just get the date wrong? Oh, I did. I got the date wrong. Okay, so there's just one coming out next month. But I love that Bark stuff, so that's what I'll be getting. Also, the Angel hardcover of the new Boom series is coming out. I'm gonna be getting that. I like what I've read from it. Freddie, you're saying Making Friends hardcovers are so tight with glue binding. Yeah, they are tight.
Okay, recommended pickups for September.
Yeah, I was just going through those.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I think I finished my September, actually. Do you know what's coming out? Do you have any
don't. I don't. No, I never really know until
till it happens.
Yeah, till that week. Because I kind of like to surprise myself.
That's fair.
I do know. I think in September, if I'm not mistaken, the Superman Batman omnibus is coming out. The one that has the Michael Turner art for, and it was a couple of absolutes. All I had was the trades for it, so I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
Let's see. In a future gone mad, Harley Quinn comes out of retirement. This sounds like it's a play on Old Man Logan. In a dark and twisted future, The one time Mistress of Mayhem thinks she's wrapped up her final adventure, but when a rampaging gang called the Laughing Boys attack, she'll have to dust off the old baseball bat and take one last swing at a certain ex-boyfriend. There's just one problem. Harley already killed the Joker herself. Or didn't she? Nah, I don't think you need this. I have to because I love Harley and I'm just stupid for everything. But I think this looks like it's a pass. The art doesn't really look all that special to me. I don't have anything against Frank Thierry. I haven't read any of his run yet. I haven't got to it yet. So maybe I'll be able to judge better when I get there. But this sounds like kind of a dumb concept. Of course, there's a lot of people that think Harley's a dumb concept. So I don't know. It's $17 and IST has it for 42% off. I was kind of on the fence about this, and just because I felt like a completist, I felt like I had to. I don't know. Jess, can we hear more about your skateboarding weightlifting days? Oh man, that's the best.
Oh, favorite read so far this year? That's hard. I'm checking my Goodreads.
I would if I had them inputted on my phone. I loved the Authority Omnibus.
I mean, I'm loving the new Boom Buffy so much. And you know, Giant Days is ending in October, and that's consistently great still.
That's good.
So,
let's see. If only I had my list with me.
your paper list.
My paper and pen list. Well, let's see. I already said. Oh, I know X-Men Red I loved.
That was good.
I loved X-Men Red. Let me look at that X-Men. No, I didn't love that X-Men. Oh yeah, I love the Garth Ennis Red Team books. 7 to Eternity, that was really good. Star Wars Dr. Aphra, I still like that. I know that certain someone didn't like that.
I mean, I thought that Vader omnibus was better than her whole series, though.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. The Old Guard, I love that. Fuse, that's a book I need to read the next 3 books of. Fuse, I read the first and loved it. I need to read the rest of Fuse.
Yeah, this was the year that I finally read all the Black Hammer stuff, and I mean,
oh gosh,
incredible.
Absolutely.
And all of it. Like
all of it.
This, but all of it. All of the spin-offs, everything.
Yeah. All the spin-offs from Black Hammer is great. Yeah.
I love Scurry too. I'm going through like earlier this year. Scurry is so good. Did you ever read Scurry?
No. It's sitting on my reading. I've got 2 Kickstarter books right on my chair, right down here, that I keep saying I need to do a Kickstarter video, and I need to do it with these 2 books because they're both still available, the Kickstarter books, and I'm like, I really need to do this. I just, for some dumb reason, I haven't done it.
I get it.
I don't know. I I don't know. I really do need to do that before they stop being available.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. What book would you say is a book you really, really need to read, but you just haven't got to yet?
I feel like I have too many of those.
Oh yeah, okay, I agree with that.
I feel like one that I really need to get on is Usagi Yojimbo.
Hmm.
Because I have all those paperbacks, the chunky ones, and the Fantagraphic series. I think what's been stopping me is when I've held up the Fantagraphics books, people are like, "Oh no, start with Dark Horse," and I'm like, "But isn't it first?" And then something in my head's like, "I don't know what to do. I don't
Yeah,
know which
everybody
to actually
says
read."
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're supposed to start with the Dark Horse stuff first, and then go back and read the Fantagraphic stuff. That's always odd.
yeah.
I've only read the first book of the saga, and I would love to do a readathon, but after the War of Kings disaster readathon, I don't want to promise any more
It's
readathons.
a commitment. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it really soured me on the whole readathon idea.
I get it. Yeah, it's hard. I feel like it's just daunting me on the shelf, though. I'm like, oh, there's so many, and I know I'll enjoy it, but it's just
Yeah.
sitting there. How about you?
I would say probably Usagi for me too. I mean, even though I've read one book, there's 8 of them now, and plus Legends, I guess.
Did you
And
start with the Dark Horse? Is that what you did?
that's all I've read. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I read number 1, and
Smalllock's saying start with either. Yeah, I get confused every time someone says that. I need someone to tell me why. Like why a certain one, right?
yeah, actually, that's a good question.
I think someone told me once the Fantagraphic stuff is more boring. So if you jump to Dark Horse and then you care more, I
Oh,
don't know. We'll see.
oh, okay. Hmm. Okay. Well, I feel like we've covered a lot. Um, I got, let's see, Smalllock says it jumps around a lot. You can
Okay.
read Uzagi starting just about anywhere. It jumps around a lot.
I guess I just need
Um,
to jump in and not worry about it.
yeah. And I also feel like maybe it's okay to just read 1 or 2 books and not have to devour the whole thing in one
True.
thing. But I do want to read Scurry, and then in this Jimmy Palmiotti book that I've got before the next Jimmy Palmiotti Kickstarter comes in, which I've already signed up for, which is ridiculous that I haven't even read the. Oh no, I have read it. Killing Time in America. So I'm just reading. Oh, I need to read both books of Scurry.
You need to jump on Goodreads because this will help you out. So you remember what you read because it tells you. I'd be lost without it. Yeah, Scurry is a really fast read. Both books.
Okay.
So you'll feel accomplished. You'll enjoy yourself. And then you got it done. Also, your name's in the back. Come on.
That's right. I've now started putting OmniDog in instead of my real
Oh,
name.
nice. That's fun.
Yeah. Smallak, I have not read 5 Years Later Legion. Oh, you're like a bulldog on this Keith Giffen thing. Dog on a bone. Let's see. What's the latest info on Fangirls Assemble? What's your schedule?
We will be back on tomorrow night. I think it's 7 p.m. Eastern. One of those, but you can follow us on Twitter at Fangirls with a Z live, and we will update you on the time. I don't know what we're talking about. Maybe Moonshadow. Actually, we're definitely talking about Moonshadow.
Oh, that's cool.
But something else too. I'll tell you right now, didn't finish it. Not going to. Spoiler, not going to happen. You know why? I'm hating it. That's my spoiler.
Are you really?
That's my spoiler, yeah.
What is it about it you're not liking?
I'm about 130 pages in, and every single, we talked about unlikable characters, every single character is horrifically unlikable. And it might as well be a novel. There are walls of text, which is fine, but guess what? I didn't sign up to read a novel. So, if I want to read a novel, I have plenty. I love those. And it's not getting better for me. My dad actually recently read it and loved it, so he keeps telling me, we have to get over the 200-page mark. And I'm like, but I shouldn't have to.
Yeah, 200 pages.
I mean, yikes. So it's rough for me personally. Maybe you guys love it. That's great. I don't know. The art's cool. I like the art.
Huh. Yeah, the art is really nice.
And it's a gorgeous hardcover.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, Smotluck, I apologize. He said to suggest other Giffen stuff. Yeah, I know I haven't read that I haven't read 5 Years Later. That was such a great picture that was posted of you and
Maddie talking about
Spice Girls.
Yeah, Lee Clark screenshotted the moment we found that out. That was really funny.
That was so great. What a great picture that was.
Yeah, I loved it too. I had no idea we were like that similar in our reactions, but we were both so stoked.
That was such a great one. Oh my gosh. I love the Spice Girls.
I mean, clearly I do too.
Yeah.
Spice World's the best movie. Come on.
Yeah, my daughter and I watched Spice World 55 times when she was probably 4.
Yeah, it was like nonstop for me.
What year did that come out?
I think it was I want to say somewhere between 96 and 98 or something like that.
Okay, so she was probably 5 then.
Something like that.
Oh yeah, no, I loved them. I mean it was that CD, of course, was in my car playing nonstop when my daughter, was going to school or in the car with me or whatever. Yeah, and that movie was being played all the time.
I mean, people like to trash that movie, but it's just a mockumentary. Like, it's supposed to be ridiculous and over the top. And there's so many cameos that, like, as a kid, I never noticed. But, I watched it like a few years ago, and I was like, oh yeah, Meatloaf was the bus driver. Oh yeah, that's Alan Cumming. He's the journalist,
I know. That's a fun movie. You can't trash that. It's just fun.
It's pure fun.
Oh, it's super fun. Who's my favorite Spice Girl? I think I like the one that left.
Ginger?
Ginger. Yeah, I always liked her.
She's probably my least favorite. But I know why you liked her.
Why?
She's the one who always had her chest out.
Well, actually, I liked her because she had red hair.
Oh, okay. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Reed has red hair.
Oh, he's a ginger?
Yeah.
I'll tell you my least favorite one was Scary.
Oh, Scary's great. Were you just scared of her?
No, I found her behavior on America's Got Talent to be really sometimes almost mean-spirited.
Really? Because I watched her on that. I thought she was always pretty lovely to people. Did we watch a different America's Got Talent?
No, I like the Howard Stern years. Those are the only years I watched.
Those were good years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch it anymore either. But he was great on there. I didn't expect that.
I loved him on that. Okay, so you can find me here on OmniDog's Vault and on Instagram at OmniDogs_Vault. And I am going to be pumping out the videos this weekend like nobody's business. Once I get 2 more books read, then I can do some overviews and some reviews and some stuff done, because it's been like a week since I've done anything by myself, certainly, and I need to I can't keep leaning on other co-hosts to create content. I need to stand on my own. I need to,
I don't know. I think you do that. You have like 107 shows, right? Approximately.
Approximately. Oh, here's a compliment. We can put this one up.
Oh.
Yay.
That's awesome. Thank you. We're glad you enjoy.
Yeah, we are glad you enjoy it. Thank you very much for tuning in. And we'll be back here in 2 weeks. And maybe something controversial will happen again, like the OmniCat doesn't like a book. Holy smoke.
It may happen again. We'll see.
It's always a bummer, but it's real life.
Just keeping it real, guys. Gotta let you know.
That's right. So, on behalf of my co-host and myself, please consider subscribing or hitting the like button or leaving a comment. Be sure and check Kristen out on Fangirls Assemble. And peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you for watching. Really genuinely appreciate it.
Bye,
Thanks
everyone.
for sticking with us. This was a long one. Thank you.
Thank
very
you
much. Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you.